Okay, let's move over to the division that we all want to hear about. We saved the best for last. It is the AFC East. We'll start off with the team that finished last in the division last year. It is the New York Jets, who finished 7-10. That is way better than I expected the Jets to finish last year. That defense was very, very good for him. If they had any kind of stable QB play, they probably would have made the playoffs. Except they didn't. They had old ass Joe Flacco. They had Zach Wilson, who was just bad, and Mike White, who is now my backup quarterback. So he did what he could, you know. Let's talk about the notable additions, though. Basically, Aaron Rodgers brought over a lot of his friends in Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb. Also brought in Mecole Hardman, Sheldon Rankins, Chuck Clark, and they just signed Dalvin Cook. So pretty good. Also, yeah, I should also mention Aaron Rodgers because I kind of didn't. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers is now the quarterback. Big upgrade. Notable losses: Nate Herbig, Sheldon Rankins, Elijah Moore, Mike White, Braxton Berrios, and Nathan Shepard. So I think it's fairly easy to say the Jets are going to be the most improved team in the NFL this year, just for the sheer fact they're going from Zach Wilson to Aaron Rodgers. That is probably the biggest QB upgrade in the history of the NFL. But like this, it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, like the Jets are going to be shit. The Jets are going to be a very good team this year. And that defense with like Quinnen Williams, one of the best defensive tackles in the league. And I really like what I've been seeing from Will McDonald and Jermaine Johnson, who will just be rotational pieces for them out on the edge. But I don't know. It's hard to say that this Jets team is going to be bad anyways. They definitely won't be bad. They're a good team. They're just a good team.
I think they're going to be bad. I think they're going to be shit.
They can't be
I think they're going to be okay. When I say bad, like they're probably going to have the same record as last year. And the reason why
that would be nuts.
I think when you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers come in, everyone's going to buy in. It's a future Hall of Famer. All right, like we've given the keys to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron, take us to the promised land. Now, this is the problem I have with the Jets. One, they have by far, maybe not by far, they have the worst O-line in the division.
Yeah,
I would say. The guy protecting Aaron Rodgers' blind side is either Mekhi Becton, who will play 3 snaps and then pull his calf or something, and Billy Turner. Their right tackle is a guy called Max Mitchell, who I don't even know who he is. Sorry, Max Mitchell. Elijah Vera Tucker is a good guard. McGovern's a good center, but he holds too much. And Laken Tomlinson, who is pretty good, but not great. So if
he was not good last year, that's for sure.
He was not good last year. He's all right from what I've seen, but he was not good last year, according to Wellesley.
It was good for the Niners.
I'm going to stick with that because I really don't want the Jets to do well. So, look, if you're just looking at the O-line, it's much worse than the Packers O-line last year.
Yeah.
So Rodgers is going to have to deal with a worse O-line, a worse coordinator because they went from LaFleur's water boy, and then their receivers are basically the same level, same caliber as last year, aside from the fact that I know it's a big aside from the fact, but they do have Garrett Wilson, who's much better than anybody that Aaron Rodgers had last year. So do I expect some big plays from Garrett Wilson? Yes. But I don't think it's going to mesh right away. I mean, they're still rolling out Randall Cobb, who's not going to be able to get open. They're still rolling out Alan Lazard, who will get locked down by any viable corner you throw at them. I mean, if I'm just looking at their matchups against Buffalo, New England, and Miami, I mean, they only have one good matchup in that. Whoever Garrett Wilson's going up against is the good matchup. And then Lazard and Corey Davis are going to get smoked by whoever's guarding them. I mean, there's
Hmm.
good defenses in this division. There's good
Yeah,
front sevens
very.
in this division. What happens when no one except Baby Jettis is getting open and the O line's allowing pressure after pressure and Aaron Rodgers is throwing the ball into the ground on every play? And it's three and out, three and out, three and out. So the defense
Hmm.
is going to have to play at a top five level for them to make the playoffs. I don't see it with this offense. I think this offense is going to surprise a lot of people. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has had much better offenses in his time in Green Bay than this one. And now he's 40.
Easily.
Now he's 40. So
Yeah.
I don't see it. I think the Jets are going to be
Like
the
that's the
letdown of
thing.
the
I'm
year.
not. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
yeah. Like I'm not really buying into the hype either. Like I think that the Jets are going to still be a good team. I think that they'll be better than they were last year, just off the QB play. I'm expecting Aaron Rodgers to regress this season, but even Aaron Rodgers, him getting worse, he'll still be a top 15 quarterback because he won't fall off a cliff. He's just not that guy. But yeah, like the offensive line is the major concern, and then obviously, yeah, I like truly their offensive line is just bad. And even like with those guys who could be good for him, with Becton, who's just been injured the last 3 seasons, and when you were going over the depth chart, I'm like, wait, isn't there left tackle Dwayne Brown? But I completely missed that Dwayne Brown has just been hurt the entire offseason. And the last article that I looked up, which got posted 34 minutes ago, there's a mystery surrounding New York Jets offensive tackle Dwayne Brown. So I don't even know if Dwayne Brown's going to start. He's also old. He's still solid, but yeah, going into the season with Billy Turner and Max Mitchell as your tackles, that's very, very
And
bad.
a
Very scary
year-old
for an
quarterback.
old. Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, okay,
Exactly.
yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Um,
Also, I'd like to throw in
let's. Yes.
one thing. Their defense will not be able to stop the run either. Their linebackers are old. They have Quinnen Williams,
No.
and that's it. So, I mean, I don't think they're going to be
I
able to stop the run.
disagree.
I don't think they're going to be able to stop the run. I think they'll have a good secondary. If you can pound the ball, I just maybe it's because I'm biased, but I honestly truly don't see it with the Jets this year.
No, it's like that's the it's tough, and I feel like that's kind of been the consensus from like anyone who I've talked to, where it's like, yeah, like the Jets are obviously better than they were last year, but it's also like everyone else also improved, and I don't know. It really all hinges on what you think of Aaron Rodgers at this point. Some people still think he is that MVP quarterback from 2 years ago. I just don't think it's there anymore. We have shit on the Jets way too much, though, and I feel like we need to talk about some good things. We talked about Garrett Wilson for a bit. Garrett Wilson went for 1,100 yards with the trio of Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, and Mike White. With Aaron Rodgers, I'm fully expecting him to have like a 1,500-yard season easily. I think that he should put himself into the top 10 wide receiver rankings after this year. I just think he's a special player, and it's as simple as that.
I think with that will come more attention from the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Yeah.
a lot of the plan. I know, especially for Bill Belichick, was they weren't really focusing on shutting down Garrett Wilson. It was more just fucking with Zach Wilson. Um,
Yes.
I think
Easy to do.
now there'll be more focus on Garrett Wilson. 1,500 yards is probably pushing it a little bit for me. I do think he'll get more than 11. Um, yeah, I'd say the
He
sweet spot
should.
probably somewhere in the middle, but yeah, it's not too far fetched for sure. That 1,500 could
No,
happen.
no. Yeah, and I mean, this Jets run game should be really fucking good. I mean, they just brought in Dalvin Cook to be the backup to Brees Hall. Obviously, Brees Hall also coming back from injury, so they will ease him in now with Dalvin Cook. But I just don't think, and I kind of said it on last week's show, I just don't think it's a move that the Jets needed to make. Obviously, with Rodgers taking his pay cut, it freed up money, but freeing up money for a backup running back when you still have Michael Carter, who's been very productive, and you just drafted, I think he was the 4th-round pick, Israel Abanikandi, like, doesn't really make sense. I think it's just kind of the Jets being like, okay, we're kind of trying to go all in. Let's just try to make it work. And I just think that there's too many moving pieces for the Jets for it to all mesh really well in year one. It's going to be a new offensive system with Hackett. And really, it's a new offensive system because of Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that Hackett really does anything with Aaron Rodgers as his QB. I think Hackett goes, this is the playbook. You do what you want, and I'll just sit back and look pretty. I don't know why I said look pretty, but either way. I just think that there's just too many moving pieces for all of this to work well, especially for year one. And then year two, if we both think that Rodgers is going to regress, year two won't be better. And then Rodgers says he's prepping Zach Wilson to be their starter for the next 15 years after he leaves. And like, God, I fucking hope so. Yeah, I think, I don't know. I feel like we've talked about the Jets pretty decent amount at this point.
Jets fans, you signed the wrong number 12. You could have 2 years ago brought in Tom Brady. He would have brought you there.
God, that would have been that just weird. Brady ended up playing for the Jets. Okay, I guess let's go floor and ceiling for the Jets. I think floor is they're going to be around 500, 7, 8, 9 wins. And then their ceiling, again, if everything goes right, and it's a lot of things to go right for this team, they'll be a playoff team, obviously. I don't think, again, even with all of the additions and Aaron Rodgers, I don't think this is a Super Bowl team. I think that it won't work out for them one way or another.
Aaron Rodgers couldn't win the Super Bowl with the number 1 seed like 3 years in a row. He's going to win the Super Bowl on the Jets in his first year there? No way.
No, that's a very fair point. Oh, also one more kind of take to get out there. I think this is going to be Joe Douglas's last year as the Jets GM. I think this move, getting Rodgers and going all in, is going to backfire. I don't think that the roster, again, the roster overperformed a lot last year, 7-10, and I think a lot of those wins came against backup quarterbacks. I don't think they really beat a good quarterback at all last year, so they overperformed. I think Joe Douglas really overplayed his hand trying to go into a win now mode instead of trying to be like, let's try to find another quarterback, maybe a bridge. Like a bridge quarterback, someone just better than Zach Wilson. Not hard to find. But yeah, we can move on from the Jets now, and we can jump over to the New England Patriots, who finished 8-9 last year. Exactly what I expected from them. They had a good defense. They had a good run game. That's about it, because Matt Patricia fucking calling those plays. Holy shit. That makes me lose a lot of confidence in Bill Belichick when he appoints Matt Patricia and Joe Judge to co-offensive coordinators. We can talk about that stuff in a bit. Starting off with the notable additions. Wait, hold up. That has to be wrong. True. I thought you said DeAndre Hopkins was going to be a Patriot.
Yeah, so we didn't know. But now we know. That's why we didn't sign DeAndre Hopkins. But apparently Pop Douglas is an Antonio Brown clone. So we're good. We're good. We don't need a number 1. We're good. Pop Douglas plays 2 snaps in both preseason, or I don't know, like a few snaps in both preseason games, and then goes and sits with the starters. When does that happen? Let's go, Bill. You finally hit on a receiver or what? I mean, that's promising. That's promising. If Pop Douglas is sitting with the starters in preseason, I love it. I love it. So look, I know Pop Douglas is the reason why we don't have
you can see it that way, but yeah.
Well, we're gonna find
let's
out,
actually
right?
get into it.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna find out. I mean,
we
will
find out very, very shortly.
Yeah. Do our additions and whatever, and then I'll notable
additions. Yeah. Notable additions: Juju Smith-Schuster, Mike Gesicki, Riley Reef, and newly signed Patriot Ezekiel Elliott. Notable losses: Devin McCourty, Jacoby Myers, Isaiah Wynn, and Damian Harris. Let's talk about the good, what we like about Patriots. You will say everything. Who am I missing?
No. Why'd you put Isaiah Wynn in notable losses?
He was a starter for you guys last year.
He was brutal.
I
You'll
think that's
see.
fair.
Yeah,
Either
it's
way, he was a first round pick. He was a starter for you. He is a name. A win. It's a decent loss. Decent loss. And
okay.
fuck, you replace him with Riley. Put him down. He's not any better.
Let's see.
Either way, let's talk the good here. Starting off with that new offensive coordinator hire, bringing back Bill O'Brien. Like insane step up just from going from Matt Patricia to Bob. And just that right there makes the offense better because, in my mind, the offense stayed the exact same. But we'll leave it at that for now. Your defense will always be top 10 with Bill Belichick running the show. Has that top 5 potentially really clear ceilings. It has the potential to be a very good, very scary defense if people step up the way they should. If guys like Christian Gonzalez come out right away and become a true number one. Yeah, and again, your run game now. Ezekiel Elliott coming in to be the backup. Ramondre Stevenson sucks for fantasy wise, but you guys have a good 1-2 punch. I think honestly, with Ramondre taking the bulk of the carries, I'd rather have Zeke as the backup over Dame Harris at this point. So I think you guys probably upgraded your backup running back spot. I also like Pierre Strong, but that's the good for the Patriots. I'll let you go talk about whatever you want, what you like about them, because I'm sure it's a lot, and we could probably do 20 minutes if we really want them to.
Well, I think it's the best secondary in football. I think it's a great D line. Um, the linebackers.
Fair.
I mean, I like Bentley. I like Bentley. Um, I think we could use
He
somebody
was a
else.
fridge. Huge.
Yeah, I think there could be somebody else at linebacker that could help us, especially somebody who can cover, because Bentley's prone to getting cooked. If you ever have to put him one on one against a tight end or a back. So maybe that's
Mm-hmm.
if there was a hole in our defense, I would say a cover linebacker or someone up the middle to really quarterback that defense. But to me, the secondary, I mean, if you look Kyle Duggar, just football player, can do it all, cover, blitz, tackle, a classic Bill Belichick type player. Jabril Peppers is going to be stepping in for
Mm-hmm.
Devin McCourty. I think he's a more athletic guy at this point or at this point in Jabril Peppers' career and Devin McCourty's career. I think he's a more athletic, explosive type athlete who can tackle. He's going to be obviously it's going to be a
I
hit
fucking
not
hope
having.
so.
Obviously, it's gonna be a hit not having McCourty patrolling center field. I mean, those McCourtys
Yeah.
they got an act for making big plays down the field and on the ball. I mean, just professional football players at its finest. And I'm hoping for Jabril Peppers to step up and play some good ball. And Jalen Mills is going to be there too. So
Mm-hmm.
he already picked off C.J. Stroud. Um, so that was great to see. I mean, we can't let
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud be lighting us up in preseason. So it was good to see him give him his welcome to the NFL moment right there. Matt Judon, the best
Yeah.
player on the team. Um, I'm hoping he's going to get at least 15 sacks this year again. Josh Uche, I'm hoping double digit sacks, maybe 15 as well. Maybe we can get 30 combined from Judon and Uche. Wouldn't that be something, right? See ya Tua.
You're
And
sounding like
then
Spills now from last week.
yeah. And then if we go from if we talk about the offense, okay, because this is the big one, because I know the defense is going to be good.
Yeah.
All right, I know Wellesley knows the defense is
Yes.
going to be good, right? It's the offense,
Of
and the
course,
offense
always is.
doesn't have to be the Chiefs' offense. It doesn't have to be the Eagles' offense. It doesn't have to be the Niners' offense. What it's got to be is an offense that won't turn the ball over, and there were too many turnovers last year. A lot due to us calling halfback draws on 3rd and 10 and lateral plays and throwing the ball to Chandler Jones and having him stiff arm our quarterback into the ground and run into the end zone to win the game. Look, that kind of stuff can't happen this year, and it won't, because Bill O'Brien coaches fucking hard and he holds you accountable. So I'm hoping that this offense is able to make several strides forward. The O line is the only thing that concerns me. Um, I mean, I like Cole Strange, I like David Andrews, I like Mike Onwenu, but Mike Onwenu might not even play at the start of the year. He's still on the PUP. So I mean,
Hmm.
the only real question mark I have is the O line. I actually have been very impressed with Butte and Douglas. I think both of them are going to make the team. The guy that's in trouble is Taekwon, because he hasn't really stood out. And if they keep Butte and Douglas, I don't really know what you do with Taekwon. So it's going to be interesting to see on the cut day who what happens there in the receiver room. But I mean, Parker's going to be the downfield threat. I actually do like Devontae Parker a lot. When he played last year, he was making plays. His problem, as you know,
When he
is
plays is the
staying
key
on
word.
the field. Yeah. So hopefully he can stay on the field. They got like six
Yeah.
receivers that are going to contribute this year. And then hopefully the one of the young guys turns into that number one threat that we're waiting for, because we're still waiting. We're still waiting for that number one receiver. But the running game is going to be good. Mac is going to
Yeah.
be a lot better this year with Bill O'Brien coaching him. So
You would
I'm
hope
expecting
so.
a playoffs. I'm expecting the playoffs at least. I would say floor is the playoffs, and ceiling is the Super Bowl. So yeah.
That's fucking insane, man. Okay, let me just part the. Oh, I don't know where to start. Okay, let's start off with you're hoping that Jabril Peppers, Jalen Mills, and Adrian Phillips, the trio, replaces Devin McCourty, who played like 98% of your guys' last year. That's just concerning in general. Obviously, Devin McCourty is not what he used to be years past. He was still good, productive, solid player, the leader of that defense last year. And relying on guys who have not been playing majority of their snaps or the majority of snaps in games, they're basically their entire careers. Not great. Not great asking a trio of guys to replace the guy who's been the leader of the team for almost a decade now, or more than a decade. I forget how long he's been there. On that's a question about the defense. If Christian Gonzalez starts out slow off the gate or isn't who we thought he was coming out of college, big concern. He's a rookie. I'm sure I love him. I'm sure he's going to be great, but which sucks for me to say, but has to be brought out there because he is a rookie. It's hard to adjust, especially at corner, which I think is the hardest position to play in football. Let's talk about this fucking offense, though, because I don't think that anything has changed roster-wise from last year this year. I think Jacoby Myers is better than Juju. I think that was just a very lateral move. I think Mike Gesicki is fine. I liked Mike Gesicki in Miami. I just don't know what the Patriots are going to do with him. He cannot block. Obviously, Bill O'Brien should be able to scheme some touches up for him, but this is the Patriots team whose whole model has been run the ball, play good defense, win the turnover battle, control the clock, and that kind of leaves Mike Gesicki. Who knows? You brought in John Smith to essentially do nothing. Jonnu Smith, big athletic tight end. Bring in Mike Gesicki, big athletic tight end. I just don't know how it's going to look. That's a question mark. A little bit. It's just nothing about the Patriots is concerning. The defense is obviously very good. The offense is just no one's scared about them. No one's scared about Mac Jones throwing to Kendrick Bourne and Devontae Parker and Juju Smith-Schuster. It's
No, you're right.
just that's going to be what holds you back.
They are scared of Mac Jones throwing to Demario Douglas, though.
Sure, again, if you're relying on a 6th-round rookie receiver to be your number one, you should be worried about that, Chu. That says a lot about the rest of the wide receiver room right now.
Says a lot about the 6th-round picks that Bill comes up with, huh?
Yeah, fuck, apparently. Yeah, I just think your biggest change from this year to last year was getting a new offensive coordinator. And that's not enough considering what everyone else has done collectively in the AFC this year. It's good. You guys have slightly improved just based off that, but I'm expecting the exact same thing from you guys last year. You're going to be around 500. Again, I think you sneak into the playoffs as a wild card team. You have no shot at winning this division. Let me make that very, very clear. Zero chance at winning the division. But if you guys do make the playoffs, it's just going to be a wild card loss. You're going to play the Bills, you're going to play the Chiefs, and you're going to get spanked. That's going to be it.
No, the Patriots have a better roster than the Bills do this year, and it's by quite a lot. I mean, there's so many holes on the Bills roster.
Stop! What are you talking about?
Roster-wise, what are we looking at roster-wise?
What?
If you want to look at Allen and Diggs, sure.
Josh Allen, Miller, Trey White, Jordan Poyer, Stephon Diggs. Those 6 guys right there are probably better than anyone on the Patriots, maybe except for Matt Judon.
Jordan Poyer. You just said Jordan Poyer. Jordan Poyer wouldn't even start for the Patriots.
Good NFL safety. Come on now.
Jordan Poyer wouldn't even start for the Patriots.
You wouldn't want Jordan Poyer over fucking Jabril Peppers or Jalen Mills or Adrian Phillips? That's insane.
Washed.
He was an all-pro in 2021.
Jordan Poyer's washed. He wouldn't even start for us.
Either way, saying that the Bills have a worse roster than the Patriots is probably one of the worst things that you have said on this podcast so far. And you have said some very crazy things. Let me make that clear.
They have the best roster in the division.
It's not even close. It's not even close.
It's just going to come down to the receivers making plays.
Oh, I don't even know. That is honestly insane to me. The Bills, who are unreal. And I think the Bills roster improved from last year. And the Bills were one of the best rosters in football last year. And they got killed because of injuries. And they were still a very good football team. That's nuts. And we'll talk about the Bills very quickly. But what the fuck, man? That's crazy. I think let's just move on. Because, we said that we think they're going to be a potential Super Bowl team, which is also insane.
If you want to go through, the Patriots have a better running game than the Bills. They have better tight ends. I guess Kincaid. So no, we'll say they're tied. We'll say they're tied. The quarterback, I'll go Bills.
That thing. I think that the only thing that you can definitively say that you have better is you have a better run game. That's it.
And defense by a lot. And who would you rather have, Matt Judon and Josh Uche, or Greg Russo and Buddy?
I would take Greg Russo and Von Miller over Matt Judon and Josh Uche.
That's nuts.
Easily.
Matt Judon at this point is better than Von Miller.
I think it's close. But either way. Let's move on. Let's talk about my team, and we can get more amped up and revved up about this. Because, my God. Miami Dolphins, 9-8, made the playoffs last year. It was a very tough road getting there with the injuries at QB and just the injuries in general in the defense. But we made it. It was not QB we expected to be starting in the playoffs against the Bills, but we almost won that game some fucking how. And this offseason, I think that we got much, much better Notable additions, we got Jalen Ramsey, who's obviously injured and out till probably November, which stinks. David Long, Isaiah Wynn. I have down Chosen Anderson, but apparently it's Robbie Chosen, which is just weird. But Robbie Chosen, Braxton Berrios, Vic Fangio is obviously the bigger additions. Notable losses: Mike Gesicki and Landon Roberts. This is a very good Dolphins team. I think we have one of the best defenses, not even in the division, not even in the conference, just in the NFL. And that's excluding Jalen Ramsey. I think when Jalen Ramsey comes back, I think we definitively will have a top 5 defense in the league. I think right now, even without Jalen Ramsey, again, if X comes back, has a bounce back year, I'm expecting the Dolphins defense to take a huge step with Vic Fangio there as the defensive coordinator. And I think that is our major thing. Our defense was absolutely shit last year. I think we were bottom 5 defense because of all those injuries to our secondary. And Emmanuel Ogbah also missing the entire season. Not a great player, but just a solid, good depth player that we did miss, definitely. Yeah, and that's just defense. Our offense is... The Raris are good. The Raris are good to go. It all comes down to health with the Dolphins. That is the only question I have about actually the offensive line. Not very great. But health is literally my only concern with this team. If we stay healthy, if Tua stays healthy the entire year, sky's the limit for this team in my mind.
Yeah, I don't. I agree with the defense. I like the front seven. The front seven's good. The linebackers are above average. My problem is your two starting corners going into the year is Xavier Howard, who might be on his way out, or might be on his way down, I should say, like downhill, as in he's too old and too injured. But we'll see. I don't know.
This is
I don't know.
definitely going to be a prove it year to see what
Yes,
we think of X.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's like a question mark. And then you got Eli Apple,
Yeah.
who's starting.
He's not stop. Come on.
Well, I mean, that's what
He's
I
not
just like
starting.
to open the depth chart just to make sure because I wasn't sure. And I see Eli Apple starting corner. I see Xavier Howard starting corner, and then I see Kohu and Smith as the backups.
Yeah.
So who's starting?
See,
Kohu
I
and
also
Apple?
see that, but I can tell you Eli Apple. I personally put Eli Apple keep Cater at nickel, but we'll see. We'll see. You can move Cater to the outside and pick Needham, who I think is still coming back from his injury though, but we'll see. But yeah, I think that corner at the start of the year, if Xavier Howard isn't Xavier Howard from 2021 and he bounced back from being injured all year last year, it's concerning. But last year it was hurt Xavier Howard playing out there with like Justin Bethel and I don't even like no ones were playing at like our corner and secondary positions last year. And we've upgraded. We have depth now at least, so I'm not worried about corner right now for us,
Okay.
especially with how good our front seven is. If we're like, because that's the thing. If you look at the Niners and what they do, their secondary has not been very good since Bosa has gotten there. But I mean, obviously they fucking have Nick Bosa, so that's a big difference maker. But if you get pressure to the quarterback, you can have a weaker secondary, and I still think our secondary is at least average right now, not knowing what X is going to be and having Jalen Ramsey for the first half of the year. I think we're average. And if X is good, if X is what he can be, we have a good secondary. When Ramsey comes back, we have an elite secondary.
Yeah, just hopefully you're not eliminated by the time Ramsey comes back. But so
We
now
won't be.
this is my problem with the offense. I count
Mm-hmm.
4 good football players starting. The rest are all average. I mean, Mostert's an average running back in the league. Cedric Wilson is Cedric Wilson. Durham Smythe, like, who did he even play for last year? Taron Armstead, Good player. Right? Okay, there we go. That's a good player. And then I'm counting Tua. There you go. Don't hate. I'm counting Tua as a good football player. I'm counting
Yeah.
not most. Tyreek, Waddle, Armstead. That's 4 good players. Now what happens if Waddle goes down? Now what happens if Tyreek goes down? It's gonna happen. They're not gonna stay healthy the whole year. They might go down in a couple of weeks. Like that's gonna be some rough weeks when they're not playing. There's 4 good
Where's
players
that
there.
coming from? Oh, they're just gonna get hurt and you're gonna miss them. Like, oh, what if Stevenson gets hurt and you have to rely on Zeke? That's such a shit argument.
That's great. Then we rely on Zeke and Pierre Strong. We have more depth than y'all do.
Oh my!
Like if Waddle goes down,
You rely on Zeke.
you're rolling Braxton Berrios out there. You know, like, and I'm just saying, it's not gonna
like that's.
It's not. They're not gonna play.
It's
all
just not a
17
good
games.
argument. Like, yeah.
Waddle and Hill aren't gonna play 17 games. There's no depth on this team. Like, there's no depth on this team. The offense is relying on 4 guys.
I think our wide receiver position anyway. Like, okay, I can go on your offense and I can be like, great, you have Ramondre Stevenson, Cole Strange, sure, that's it. If we're talking about like good, great players on offense, that's fine. You have no elite players. We have
a 6-man receiver rotation. And our 6 receivers are better than everyone not named Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on your team.
No, that's okay. Okay, I will talk about the wide receiver depth because I think that compared to last year, what our wide receiver depth was, last year it was truly Tyreek, Waddle. Everyone else was just an afterthought. This year we have at least 4 guys competing for that wide receiver 3 spot. Cedric Wilson, we give a lot of money to. He's listed as a 3rd string guy. Solid player. Has not shown what his role truly is in this offense, but has shown on the Cowboys that he put up over 700 yards. Braxton Berrios is runner, I think, will be your kick return mostly, but solid. It is what it is. Chosen Anderson has been, or Robbie Chosen, my bad, put up some big years, has not performed, and he's just a burner. If we lose Waddle or Tyreek, obviously he's not even the same type of playmaker, but he can take the top off the defense still. I'm hoping that Eric Ezukama can get some big roles for them. He's shown out in preseason so far. Again, it's not great once you get past Tyreek and Waddle, but once you get Tyreek and Waddle, whose 3rd string down is good? Like, even you guys, it goes, oh, Kendrick Bourne and Pop Douglas, who Pop Douglas might be your wide receiver 1. So let's not even include him. But Devontae Parker, who hurt half the year, jump ball receiver, gets no separation. I need to stop talking about the Patriots because it bugs me that you always insert them somehow.
You're starting to realize the receivers are actually. We've got a deep receiver room over there in New England.
But you don't. Your receiver room's as deep as the Giants, and the Giants just have a bunch of names. They're just solid. That's all the Patriots are, solid. Okay, we're getting way too far carried away. We're getting their way. If everyone stays healthy on this Dolphins team, health is the key. Tua was an MVP or candidate before he went down against that Bengals game. He was the fastest QB to 1,000 yards in NFL history. You name me a bad quarterback who's ever thrown 450 yards and 6 touchdowns in a game. You cannot. Either way, I'm expecting. Huh?
Matt Flynn nearly did that.
But he didn't. That's the thing.
Did he have Tyreek and Waddle?
No, but he had like Jordy Nelson and I'm trying to think who else was on those fucking and Randall Cobb
benched that game. There's no way Jordy Nelson wasn't playing in that game.
Maybe. Either way, I don't fucking care. I'm not getting into that with them.
Well, I'm telling you, you asked me. You said who's had a crazy game like that? Matt Flynn had a crazy game like that. The numbers were comparable.
Matt Flynn didn't have a game like that though. That's the thing. He didn't even pass for 400 yards. He passed for like 350 and like that's the thing. 450 yards, 6 touchdowns. Tua did that last year against a good Ravens team. either way, people stay healthy. This team is going to roll. I'm expecting Mike McDaniel to be an even better coach than he was last year. I think that he's realizing that he did not run the ball in spots where he should have. I think he relied on Tyreek and Waddle to be those game breakers, and Tua just to, those are your guys, hit those spots. I think we're going to be more of a balanced offense. I still think we're going to take the top off nearly defense, because say what you want about Mostert and Jeff Wilson, productive guys, productive running backs, and I mean, I think they both averaged like 4.7 and 4.9 yards per carry. We bring in Devon Achane this year, who I'm expecting to be our running back one at the end of the year. Is he banged up right now? Yes, which fucking sucks because so many people have been banged up for Miami this fucking training camp. But I think regardless, I don't care what the injuries are. This is a Super Bowl team. This is a legit Super Bowl team. Again, I'd probably sound biased because we just had choosing that the Patriots are a Super Bowl team and they're not even going to make the fucking playoffs. So,
Well, look, I just pulled up the article. What was your question? What was this Tua stat line? Because Matt Flynn threw 480 and 6 touchdowns against the Lions.
he did not throw for 480. That's a lie.
Look it up. 480 yards, 6 touchdowns. Who's interested in Matt Flynn? He just beat the Lions, season-ending victory.
Well, the Seahawks were, and they gave him absolute bag, and then Russell Wilson came in and just stole the job immediately into week one. Matt Flynn, Lions game stats. Did he actually have he did have 480 yards. That's fucking insane. I thought that like he had like a really good game. Cool. Matt Stafford, though, had 520 yards. That's nuts.
There's a gunslinger up there.
Jordy Nelson, 9 for 162. God damn, man.
That was
What a
the
game.
theft of the century. Stealing that bag from the Sox.
Yeah. Either way,
Yeah.
I think second year of the McDaniel system, I think Fago is one of the best defensive minds in football, him being our new defensive coordinator. We're finally going to stop zero blitzing. I don't know if you've seen that screenshot of like from the Chargers game where it was like, I don't even know what it was, but we were like, Chargers were in the red zone and we had like 3 guys spaced out along the defensive line. The Chargers were in like a jumbo set, and that's what we ran.
Who won that game?
Coaching is better. Everything got better. We had it. Oh, the Chargers barely won, even though that was the Dolphins' worst game of the year. Yeah. Either way, this is
Tom.
We'll go floor ceiling, and then we'll move on to the Bills. The floor, again, I think AFC is tough. I think that the Dolphins can definitely miss the playoffs, just given the whole the AFC. It is very hard to make the playoffs in the AFC this year. So the floor, of course, they miss the playoffs. They're ceiling, though, Super Bowl champions. I think that they're the best team in this division. Yeah, simple as that.
I have a lot to talk about Buffalo. Oh, get ready.
Okay, then let's just get right into it then. Buffalo Bills finished 13-3 last year, and after a lot of injuries from them, they got their absolute shit kicked in playoffs. Yeah, let's start off with the notable additions, though. They added Connor McGovern, Poona Ford, Taylor Rapp, Damian Harris, Leonard Floyd, David Edwards, and Latavius Murray. Notable loss of them, Tremaine Edmonds and Devin Singletary. Let's start off with some good Bills talk before you rip them apart, which I don't even know how you will rip them apart, but I'll be interested to see what spin you take on it. I think that their pass rush depth from last year is much, much better. I think getting in Leonard Floyd while Von Miller is still recovering is huge. And then with Greg Rousseau and AJ Epinesa and Boogie Basham, I think Greg Rousseau has the ability to take that next level jump, hit that star status we just haven't seen it yet. Epinesa and Basham are solid players. Nothing else. And their run, I think they're the first time since Josh Allen has been their quarterback are actually going to have a game. I think James Cook showed out in moments last year. I think he averaged like 6.7 yards per carry and his limited touches. Very, very good. And now they bring in Dean Harris to be that back for them. That's like 1-2 punch. Your boy Damian Harris, who probably have some good things to say about him at least. But yeah, I mean, other than that, like those are like the newest good things, because I could talk about Josh Allen and Josh Allen being an MVP candidate. Diggs is a top 5 receiver in the league. And Dawson Knox is solid, but Dalton Kincaid is going to be the big, I think, their big piece on offense that could help a lot out for the Bills on offense, anyways.
Mm. Yeah, Kincaid's gonna be a nice little addition. I mean, he's a solid pass catcher. We'll see what he does, how he does in the NFL. I mean, he's gonna be assigned to run block a little bit more, I'm assuming. I mean, you got to if you're gonna be a starting tight end, unless your name's Travis Kelce.
I've
Um,
I've
Go
been
ahead.
sorry. I just think that all they're putting Kincaid, they're just putting him in the slot, and he's just going to be a big slot for them in year one, and the rest of
Oh
it will
yeah,
kind of
maybe.
go into the fold. So I think
Yeah.
Dawson Knox is still going to be primarily their blocking tight end in for them,
Okay.
which is
So they
solid.
drafted the slot receiver in the first round. Then, good for them. Um, so
You
look,
love Dalton Kincaid. Stop that.
I do. But I mean, I would play him at tight end. I mean, I wouldn't play him at slot receiver. He's not Mike Gesicki when it comes to
That's
blocking.
basically what a tight end is, a slot on the other side, a little
Yeah,
more closer to the O line.
yeah. So this is my thing with Buffalo. Um, so their title window started. Let's say it started when Brady left, so in 2020. Um, and we're now 2023. They haven't
Yeah,
made a Super Bowl. Their
no,
defensive core is aging.
hard with Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
well, I mean, it wasn't hard for the Patriots, but so you got
That's keep going.
you got the aging core of Trey White, Von Miller, Matt Milano, Jordan Poyer. So those guys are, I mean, couple
Micah
of them are
Hyde.
gonna fall off. I'll tell you that right now. They're all turning 30. Um, the O line is a work in progress, as it's pretty much always been in Buffalo. I mean, I don't remember the last time I looked at Buffalo's O line and thought, wow. Um, the running game, I like Damian Harris. He's probably I think I said in the chat maybe a couple weeks ago that he's going to end up being the guy who gets the most carries over James Cook. I think he's just a good pure runner up the middle. I like James Cook as a weapon on third down and stuff, but I think the guy who's going to carry the ball the most is Dame Harris. He's just a really hard, violent runner, and he makes it hard on the defense. I mean, he runs into your face every time he touches the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So you can always appreciate a running back like that. So I do like them bringing in Damian Harris, but I mean their defense is aging. Um, Von Miller, we'll see how he comes back from this knee injury. He's what 35 years old now or something. He's up there. So it's more of a wait and see thing with Von Miller. I do expect him to come and be productive. I don't expect him to be a scrub. Are we going to get the prime Von Miller that we've always gotten? Like for the fans, I hope Von Miller is still in his prime. I don't, Von Miller is a legend, and I don't want him to be washed. I'm not praying on his downfall. I'm just saying we got to be realistic here. Von Miller's coming. It's 34 years old, to 35 years old, coming off an ACL. So I mean, to expect him to come back and get a million sacks again is maybe a little far fetched. Greg Russo, still a raw
No.
player. I mean, I watched him last year. Josh Uche is better than him. If we go to the linebackers, Matt Milano's great. I expect him to have a good year again. Trey White really hasn't been the same since he got hurt, since he had that major injury. I mean, he's still a good corner. Is he a lockdown like all pro guy? No. Jordan Poyer is had a horrible year last year. Micah Hyde is all right. Um, again, another player
Oh,
that
right.
his best ball is probably behind him. Ed Oliver never
Yeah.
really lived up to the first round pick that we all thought he was. The first overall pick in some mock drafts at the start of that season. But Ed Oliver never really lived up to the hype. I don't expect him to take some massive leap forward. I just don't see it with this Bills roster. I think
Of course,
are they gonna
no.
be a team that can beat anyone on any given Sunday? Yes. Are they a team that can lose to any team on any given Sunday? I think they're gonna be that team as well. So I expect an around a little above 500 season for the Bills, and I think this is the year where they're going to have to blow it up because they're not going to win a Super Bowl again. They're not
God.
going to make a run. And they're going to be like, okay, well, we're up against the cap. We have a bunch of old ass players. Our quarterback is a little bit of an idiot sometimes. Maybe we should build the roster a bit differently. So I got the
Yeah.
Bills having a disaster season and maybe squeaking into the playoffs, but getting bounced pretty quickly.
Yeah. Okay, so this was a Bills team that finished 13-3 last year, despite all of those injuries. I think they were top 5 offense, and their defense was still very good, even with losing guys like Micah Hyde, Trey White, and Von Miller. Like, and all of those guys are back. I think Jordan Poyer definitely did have a down year, but I think part of the reason why Jordan Poyer had a down year was because he wasn't put in the role where he excels in what he did in 2021. Because Micah Hyde was gone the entire year. Micah Hyde, who was an all-pro, first-team all-pro safety in 2021, is now back. Again, I think this roster has improved from last year. I think their offensive line has got better. They brought Connor McGovern is now their starting guard. They drafted Cyrus Torrance, who I'm expecting to be their starting right guard on week 1. Like the weapons have arguably gotten better. Like it's still like Gabe Davis and Khalil Shakir and Deontay Hardy, who's their third receiver, but I think Kincaid is that big upgrade for them. I think he will be that second target for Josh Allen. And the one thing I'll say you're right about is, yeah, this defense is getting older, and who knows? And I think the corners is definitely a weak spot, especially if Trey White does not bounce back to what we think he can be. I think Trey White is now fully healthy. He came back from, what was his injury? Because he got hurt 2021, missed
His
most
knee, he blew out
2022,
his
and then
knee.
came back late 2022.
Yeah, he blew out his knee.
What was it?
He blew out his
Okay,
ACL.
yeah. That's always a knee injury. But like if Trey White can come back and be still a very good productive starter, that's huge for them. That's something that they missed most of last year. And Trey White, even when he came back, he probably rushed it back a little earlier, and ramping up, going from injured off your couch, and obviously he was training and whatever, going right into live games, tough. Has an entire offseason to recover, get back that form. I'm expecting him to bounce back. Maybe first round pick here for Elam steps up and is that second corner that they do need. But I don't like this is a Bills team that I think is just better. I think they were 13-3 last year. I think they can easily win the division again. I think they have the chance to be a Super Bowl team. The fact that you expect them to finish, what, you said below 500?
No, I said a little bit above 500, squeak into the playoffs.
As their ceiling, though, did you not?
Oh, well, their ceiling could be let's say their ceiling's like 11-6.
Okay, either way. Yeah, I just think that this is a very, very good Bill team, and you are describing them a ton. My floor and ceiling for them, this is a playoff team. Again, it would take a lot of injuries for them to miss the playoffs. And with a lot of injuries last year, they still made the playoffs. And one of those injuries I didn't talk about, Josh Allen was banged up for most of that year last year, powered through it. Obviously, did not play great last year when he was banged up. Still good enough, still a game breaker, can still win any game that he does play in. And yeah, sky's the limit for this team too. If Super Bowl champs, I think is definitely in the possibility for them. Do I think they will be the Super Bowl champion? Hard to say. There are a lot of good AFC teams. But yeah, let's just get over into the division awards. Wrap this up. I need to go eat some dinner coming up soon. We'll start off with breakout player, and this is the company rattled about the Dolphins. I didn't even talk about like our front seven. We mentioned them. We said that the front seven's very good. But I'll start off with a guy who I think is going to have an absolute crazy year this year. It is Jalen Phillips. I think that being in Vic Fangio's system with those guys across the defensive line, with Bradley Chubb on one end, Christian Wilkins in the middle. They have Ogba listed as the other D end in the middle. I think Zach Seiler is still that guy. I'm fully expecting Jalen Phillips to have above. He's definitely going to have double-digit sacks. I'm expecting more than 12 from him this year. I think that he is truly going to break out and be one of the premier edge players in this league going forward. And that's the thing. Like Jalen Phillips, I'm expecting him to break out. If it doesn't happen, I still think he's going to be very, very solid regardless. Like, even if he stays what he was last year, good player, very not very good player. It's very, I gotta keep saying it. Solid, good player, but I'm expecting him to break out. I'm expecting more than 12 sacks for him this year. I know I've already made that bet that he's going to have more than 10, I think. So Jalen Phillips is my breakout player of the year.
Awesome. If you're gonna take a Dolphins player, I'll tell you who's gonna break out on the Patriots this year. So I got Kendrick Bourne.
Douglas.
Kendrick Bourne. No, he's the O Rookie of the Year.
I know.
Kendrick Bourne is gonna break out and have 1,000 yards this year. Kendrick Bourne, breakout player of the year at 29 years old.
That 1,000-yard season from Kendrick Bourne?
Yeah, well, he had like 890.
You want to give me over/under odds on that?
No, I'm not gonna bet it, but because I got Devontae Parker. I like both. I'm torn between Parker and Bourne. Which one's gonna be the number one? Because I know Parker's gonna be on the field more. I think Bourne's a better receiver.
It's Juju.
And Juju's gonna be the Jacoby Myers. You nailed that on the head. He's gonna be like the guy that's in the slot, keeps the chains moving.
Who was your number one last year?
Who was our number one receiver last year? None other
Jacoby
than Nelly
Myers.
Aguilar.
What? No.
Nelson Aguilar played X.
That doesn't make him the number one, though. You can be the number one and be the slot.
So who was our best receiver last year? Is that what you're asking? What was Jacoby Myers?
Yeah, who was your number one receiver? I don't care about where they line up on the field. Jacoby Myers was the number one on that offense.
Yeah. But that's the thing. That's how much
either way.
Well,
let's
just keep
it rolling.
Kendrick Bourne was in the doghouse, though. Like, do you know what did you know the story about Matt Patricia benched him because he was late to a meeting, and then he never got back into the starting lineup the whole year, and he played like one game against the Bengals where he went for like 120 yards.
Yeah. Bill Belichick coordinators are just a different breed, different kind of stupid.
Yeah.
We'll move on. Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'm going with Bills tight end Dalton Kincaid. I said it. I think he's going to be the second option in that offense. That offense is going to be a very good offense. Maybe he takes away some looks from Stephon Diggs. But I think Kincaid's going to have a very, very good year for the Bills.
I like Dalton Kincaid. I just wish he didn't go to Buffalo because now I have to hate him. But yeah, that's.
You don't have to. You're just a hater. How about that?
No, I just division rivals. They got to learn. No, I'm not gonna get into it. But my Rookie of the Year is Pop Douglas. And look, if this 6th round rookie comes into training camp with no expectations, might even not make the team. Like, this kid doesn't even know what he just got picked in the 6th round, and he comes into camp and he's the best player on the field. And then preseason starts, and you're playing like a starter. I mean, it shows what Bill O'Brien thinks of him. Shows what Bill Belichick thinks of him. So I mean, I just got to take their word for it and roll with Pop Douglas, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Whatever. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm assuming we're going to have the same one. It's Christian Gonzalez, mainly because there's not any really other defensive rookies to pick other than him, but he is very good. He's in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year in general. He has all the talent in the world. It's just whether or not he puts it all together at the professional level, but I believe in Christian Gonzalez. He's Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I think when Bill takes a corner in the first round, I'm very confident because Bill usually knows what he's looking for when it comes to defense. And the only other corner he's taken during his Patriots tenure, if I'm not mistaken, is Devin McCourty, who ended up going to safety. But I mean, great pick as well. So
Yeah.
I got nothing but high hopes for Christian Gonzalez. He looked good in preseason. He only played, I think, 2 series, but I mean, looked good. And camp, he's lining up with the starters. So yeah, defensive rookie of the year is a good one, Christian Gonzalez.
Okay. Offensive player of the year, I'm going with Garrett Wilson. I'm expecting and that's the thing. Like, I could pick Tyreek, I could pick Waddle, but I'm just going to go with the different guy. I'm going to pick Garrett Wilson. I think he is going to be a top 10 receiver by the end of this year. I'm expecting a massive year. Again, if he puts up 1,100 yards with Zach Wilson, Flacco, and Mike White, he should be able to put up even better numbers with 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers, who is light years better quarterbacks than those other guys.
Yeah, I'll go with Tyreek. I mean, he's planning on going 2K yards. I think.
Thank
he
you.
said. He said he wants 2,000 yards this year. So, I mean,
Tua stays healthy.
Yeah. Well, the thing is I mean, so Tyreek, his best year was last year. His best numbers wise was last year, right? And that was with Tua going down. So I mean, if Tua can play more games, I don't see any reason why he can't lead the league in receiving at least. Maybe not 2K. I mean, that's a big number, but I don't see any reason why Tyreek can't go 16, 17, 18 with like 12, 13 touchdowns.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Defensive player of the year, I'm going to go back to New York. I have Jalen Ramsey listed down here because I thought Jalen Ramsey, if he would have played the whole year, just would have been an absolute weapon for us all over the field. He would have played nickel. He would have played on the outside. He would have played safety. Fangio was going to use him. He was going to be that chess piece. Obviously, not going to see that for more than half the season probably. So I'm going with Quinnen Williams. He got the bag this offseason. I think this Jets defense is very, very good, and he is the key piece part of that. Either way, whatever. He is the key reason for that defense being so damn good. I think I might bet him in general for Defensive Player of the Year just because I think he has very good odds. I mean, he's like plus 3,500. Obviously a long shot, but Quinnen Williams, Defensive Player of the Year for this division. And you're going to pick Matt Judon.
No, Matt Judon's the next one. For my Defensive Player of the Year, look, I know I said I don't like the Bills secondary, right? They're aging. Jordan Poyer is getting a little bit older. Micah Hyde got hurt last year. So I think there is room for a player to make a huge impact on the Bills, and I'm going to go Defensive Player of the Year on the Bills, Damar Hamlin.
It's a shitty pick. He's not even going to start. God. I can't knock the pick. Obviously, he came back from being dead. But, like, come on.
No, I'm okay. I'll go real Defensive Player of the Year. Well, if I could pick Matt Judon for Defensive Player of the Year and MVP, I would, but I won't. So I'll go with someone else, and I'll go with someone who I think could make a huge impact this year. And it's Kyle Duggar. I think last year I said he would make the All-Pro team. He didn't, but he had a really good year. So this year I'm going to just double down and say he'll make the All-Pro team this year. And I'll go with Kyle Duggar as the Defensive Player of the Year in this division, not Damar Hamlin.
Yeah, solid pick. I can't really disagree with it. I do like Kyle Duggar a lot. MVP, I am going to Bills quarterback Josh Allen. again, my love for Josh Allen is crazy. I'm sad that he is a Buffalo Bill, but there is no quarterback like Josh Allen in the NFL with his arm talent and his mobility and rushing ability. The man is truly one of a kind. Sometimes he just smashes all the buttons, like they say on Pardon My Take there, and makes the doy plays, but that's also part of the love of him. Again, I'm expecting a big year for Josh Allen, fully healthy. Obviously, Diggs is being a bit of a diva right now, but Diggs stays healthy. Maybe Gabe Davis plays better than he did last year because he was not very good last year, and Kincaid comes in and is a monster and he becomes baby Travis Kelce. Josh Allen MVP.
I mean, you can't go wrong. His numbers are going to be there. I mean, if the Bills do win the division, I'm assuming Josh Allen will be drooled over by the media, and he'll probably get into that top 5 MVP race somehow. Yeah, as I said, I'm going with MVP Matt Judon. I think he's carried us for so long. If we end up having a crazy year, he's going to be our best player, and there's going to be a lot of number 9 jerseys in the stands in Foxborough this year. So I'm just crossing my fingers. It's a great year, and Matt Judon can lead the best defense in the NFL to the playoffs once again, and not just stop there. Let's win some games in the playoffs and remind everyone who the best team in football has been the last 25 years.
This stat is coming off the top of my head, and I don't know. It's directionally correct, anyways. Do you know how many sacks Matt Judon has had in the second halves of seasons for the last 2 years?
No idea.
I think it's less than 8. And I think it also might be less than 7. So Matt Judon is a force that first half of the season. And then he just kind of shuts it down as the same production player. Still a very good player, but I just need to take one more shot before we get the division winner. Division winner, despite all the injuries, despite all the people being banged up, it is still the Miami Dolphins. This is a special team. No one can prove me wrong. Health is my only concern, but the Dolphins are going to win the division if we stay healthy.
I do think you guys have a better chance at winning the division than the Bills. I will say that. I think if everything goes right for you guys,
this is nothing.
I think if everything goes right for you guys, you have a better roster overall than the Bills do. So I'm not gonna call you biased for picking the Dolphins. It's New England's year, man. Kraft is putting a lot of pressure on Bill to make the playoffs. There's rumors Bill's even on the hot seat. That's what Mr. Coran put out. He put out an article, and he was the first guy on Brady leaving from the Boston media. He was the first guy saying Brady might leave this year. He ended up being right. So now he's dropping that Kraft is actually putting Bill on the hot seat this year because he spent a lot of money on renovation and everything. Kraft's been spending a lot of money, and we haven't been getting the product the last 3 years. So he's a little ticked off. And Bill knows this is the year we gotta do something. So I trust Bill 100% that he's gonna get this team to where it needs to be. And that started with hiring Bill O'Brien, and it started when they got rid of Matt Patricia. And I don't know, I think he's on the Eagles now. But yeah, I got high hopes this year.
I couldn't tell you. Yeah. Well, that'll do it for the divisional previews. All I know is that if you are right about the Patriots, which you aren't, you are going to be a very, very, very rich fan by the end of this season. Again, I think you're going to go bankrupt, but it is what it is. Obviously, we both love our teams. You more than me I love the Dolphins, but holy shit, the bias that you come out with sometimes is insane. Yeah, I guess we'll end it here. Any parting shots for any teams we didn't talk about today?
No, just fuck the Bills.
Okay. Fair enough. Fuck the Bills. Fins up. Go Dolphins. If you've liked this, please like, share, retweet, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And until next time, peace.